Have you ever felt that as you grow older, your curiosity about life deepens, yet asking questions often leads to being dismissed or misunderstood? In today's world where technology and trends evolve at lightning speed, it's easy to feel left behind and unheard. But what if I told you there's a way to bridge this gap, to communicate with younger generations without feeling dismissed or irrelevant? In this video, we'll explore 5 essential things that are best kept private, not because they should be hidden, but because sharing them unnecessarily can damage relationships, self-respect, and emotional well-being. By the end of this video, you'll gain powerful insights on how to maintain your dignity and influence in conversations, why some things are better left unsaid, how to create deeper and more meaningful connections. So, if you're ready to navigate life's later years with wisdom and emotional intelligence, stay tuned, because these insights can change the way you communicate forever. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on these valuable lessons. If you find this video insightful, please like and share to help spread these important messages. Now, let's dive into the first thing you should never reveal too often. Number 1. Even if you're curious, don't ask too many questions. As we age, we undergo both physical and mental transformations. Our bodies may slow down, our senses may weaken, but something fascinating happens. Our curiosity grows stronger. It's ironic. While our physical world shrinks, our intellectual hunger expands. We want to understand how things work, why things change, and what the younger generation is experiencing. However, there's a challenge. The world is changing at a breakneck pace. Technology, communication styles, and even the way people think have shifted dramatically. In the past, if we wanted to learn something, we had to visit a library, ask an expert, or engage in deep conversations. Today, the younger generation has instant access to information at their fingertips. And this difference creates a disconnect. When we ask innocent questions, hoping to understand new trends or technology, the responses can often be dismissive or sarcastic. A sigh, a rolling of eyes, or a comment like, "You should already know this," a push to figure it out alone. Instead of a simple explanation, we hear, "Just Google it." These reactions sting, not because we can't look up information ourselves, but because our questions are about more than just knowledge. They're about connection. Imagine someone who has lived through wars, economic shifts, and cultural revolutions, someone with decades of wisdom and life experience. Now, imagine that person being treated as irrelevant or outdated just because they don't instantly understand the latest technology. It's not just a small misunderstanding. It's a painful reminder that the world is moving forward without us. So, how do we handle this? Do we stop asking questions entirely? No. The secret is in how we ask. Instead of directly asking, cross-mark, "What is this? How does this work?" Try framing it differently. Why have you checkmark, "Wow, you seem really skilled at using this." It's amazing how quickly you find information. This small shift in wording does 2 powerful things. It turns curiosity into a compliment, making the younger person feel valued instead of interrogated. It invites them to share knowledge without feeling pressured, leading to a more positive and engaging response. By adjusting how we ask questions, we can gain the knowledge we seek without being dismissed or made to feel small. Our curiosity is a gift, but learning to express it with wisdom and emotional intelligence is what keeps our conversations meaningful. What do you think? Have you ever experienced being dismissed when asking a simple question? Comment 1 below if you relate. Number 2, never use arrogant words. We've all met someone who speaks in a way that instantly feels arrogant. But what really causes this? Why do some people come across as overly proud or boastful? The truth is, arrogance is often a mask for insecurity. People who constantly talk about their achievements, wealth, or intelligence are often seeking external validation. When someone feels uncertain about their worth, they try to prove their superiority by constantly showcasing their success. You may have seen this in conversations where someone brags about money, success, or connections, not to share joy, but to show off. People avoid admitting mistakes because they fear looking weak. Compliments turn into self-praise, like, oh, this? It's just one of my many talents. But here's the secret. True confidence doesn't need to be announced. It speaks for itself. Think about the most respected people in history. They didn't need to boast about their greatness. They let their actions and wisdom do the talking. When we constantly remind others of our achievements, intelligence, or status, we actually weaken our credibility. Instead of admiration, people start seeing insecurity hiding behind arrogance. As we mature, the most powerful way to earn respect is through humility. Instead of saying, "Cross mark, I already know this better than most people," try saying, "White heavy check mark, that's an interesting perspective. I'd love to hear your thoughts." This simple shift creates connection instead of distance. Humility allows us to learn, grow, and earn genuine respect, while arrogance only isolates us. Rocket, stay tuned for the next lesson. Let me know in the comments which lesson resonated with you the most. Number 3, don't unnecessarily dredge up your flaws. As relationships deepen, we often feel the need to open up completely. We think that sharing every detail, even our biggest regrets, mistakes, or flaws, will make the bond stronger. But sometimes, revealing too much can do more harm than good. Of course, being honest and transparent is important. But there's a fine line between sharing to build trust and exposing so much that it weakens your self-respect. We all have mistakes from our past. Things we regret, decisions we wish we could undo. But once those stories are spoken out loud, they can never be taken back. Here's the truth no one tells you. When you reveal your deepest flaws, you may believe you're being honest and vulnerable, but you're also giving someone the power to hurt you later. What seems like an innocent confession today can turn into a weapon tomorrow. It might come up during an argument. It could change how someone sees you. Worse, it can make you start seeing yourself as flawed all over again. Imagine you made a bad financial decision years ago, or you struggled with a personal weakness. You share it with a partner or friend, hoping it brings you closer. But later in a fight, they say, "You always mess things up," just like when you ruined that investment. That one sentence can reopen wounds you thought had healed. Suddenly, you don't just feel hurt, you feel small. You regret trusting them, but it's too late. The damage is done. This is why wisdom lies in balance. Not everything from your past needs to be shared. You are not your mistakes. Your growth matters more than your flaws. Does this mean you should lie or pretend to be perfect? No. But it does mean you should choose what to share carefully. Here's a better way. White heavy check mark instead of saying, "I made so many terrible choices in my life." Say this: "Life has taught me valuable lessons. I've grown a lot over the years." This highlights your growth without dragging your past into the present. The person sitting with you doesn't need to know every scar. They need to see the strength that came from surviving those scars. Your past belongs to you. Protect it. Let people know who you are now, not the version of you that you left behind. Have you ever shared something personal and later regretted it? Comment 2 below if you've been through this or if this advice makes sense to you. Number 4, don't let anger control you. As we age, we often hear people say, "Old age is like childhood." You get angry over small things. But beneath that anger is often something deeper, something few people understand. That anger is not just about small annoyances. It's often about feeling invisible, feeling forgotten. When friends forget to invite you, when family members overlook your opinion, when the world seems to be moving on without you, it hurts. And sometimes, that pain comes out as anger. I remember a personal experience. A group of people I respected held a meeting without informing me. I was furious. I felt disrespected, left out, like I didn't matter anymore. I lashed out, saying, "How could you forget me? Do you not value me anymore?" But later, I checked my phone and realized they had invited me. I had simply missed a message. I felt embarrassed and ashamed. My anger made me look stubborn and unreasonable. That day, I learned something crucial. In old age, anger is not power. It is weakness. It isolates us. It damages our dignity. When we're young, anger can sometimes be seen as passion. But in our later years, anger often pushes people away, leaving us more alone than before. So, what's the solution? Whenever you feel anger bubbling up, ask yourself, is this anger worth my peace? Most times, the answer is no. Try this instead. White heavy checkmark pause before reacting. White heavy checkmark breathe. White heavy checkmark respond with patience, not pride. The real strength in old age is calmness. When people see you handle situations with grace, they respect you more, not less. Remember, let go of anger, not for others, but for yourself. Because peace is the greatest gift you can give to your soul. Have you ever reacted in anger and later regretted it? Comment 3 below if you've experienced this or if this lesson resonates with you. Stay tuned for the next tip. Let me know which part of this hit you the hardest in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more life-changing lessons. Number 5. Don't complain too much about your illness. There's an undeniable truth about aging. Our bodies slow down and health issues become part of life. Joint pain, blood pressure, fatigue, it's all real. We live it every day. But have you noticed something? When we talk about our pain all the time, it slowly becomes our identity. I'm sure you've seen it too. Groups of elders sitting together, and the conversation quickly turns into a competition of suffering. My back pain is getting worse. I'm on 5 different medications now. The doctor says I might need surgery. Of course, sharing is natural. But when every conversation is about illness, it starts to drain the energy of the people around you. And what's worse, it drains you too. Here's the harsh reality. Talking about pain doesn't heal it. It magnifies it. Each time you say, I'm so tired, I can't bear this anymore, your mind starts believing it even more. Your body feels it even deeper. And over time, you start seeing yourself as nothing but a sick person. But you are so much more than your illness. You are experience, wisdom, resilience. You are a survivor. So, what can you do instead? When you meet someone, try this. White heavy checkmark ask about their life. White heavy checkmark compliment their energy or appearance. White heavy checkmark share a lighthearted story or a positive thought. For example, cross mark instead of saying, I didn't sleep all night because of my knee pain. White heavy checkmark say this, I'm glad to see you today. You look wonderful. What's been keeping you busy? Notice the shift in energy. When you focus on positivity, you light up the room, and something magical happens. Your own heart feels lighter too. This doesn't mean you should suffer in silence. Talk about your health when it's necessary, with doctors or close family. But don't let illness dominate your identity, because every day you wake up is a gift. You are more than your pain. You are still alive, still capable of joy. Have you ever felt like talking about your illness made you feel worse? Or have you noticed how a positive conversation lifted your spirits? Comment 4 below if you can relate or if you agree that our mindset shapes our health. Number 6. Don't criticize the younger generation too much. Another trap many of us fall into as we age is constantly criticizing the younger generation. You've probably heard it, or maybe said it yourself. Today's kids have no patience. All they do is stare at their phones. In our time, we respected elders. These thoughts aren't wrong, but saying them out loud too often can push the younger generation away. Here's the reality. Times have changed and every generation grows up differently. We learned patience because we had no choice. We waited for letters, stood in bank queues, and cooked everything from scratch. But today's youth are fast-paced because their world is fast-paced. Information, food, services, everything is instant. So, when we constantly point out their flaws, they don't see wisdom, they see judgment. And judgment creates distance, not connection. So, what's the better approach? White heavy checkmark observe their strengths. White heavy checkmark acknowledge their challenges. White heavy checkmark share your wisdom, but only when they ask for it. For example, cross mark instead of saying, "You kids don't know the value of hard work." White heavy checkmark say this, "I admire how quickly you adapt to new things. It's impressive." Notice how respect opens doors. When you respect them, they start respecting you too. And that's when they'll come to you for advice, not out of obligation, but out of trust. Have you ever felt like younger people avoid you because they think you're too critical? Or have you noticed that being kind and curious makes them open up? Comment 5 below if you believe that respect works both ways. Stay tuned for the next tip, because the final lessons are the most powerful of all. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because wisdom grows when we share it together. Number 7. Don't hold on to grudges from the past. As we walk through life, we all get hurt by friends, family, even those we trusted the most. Some broke our trust, some ignored us, and some simply walked away when we needed them most. These wounds stay with us. We hold on to the anger, the disappointment, thinking that somehow it protects us from getting hurt again. But does it? The truth is harsh but simple. Holding a grudge doesn't punish the other person. It punishes you. Every time you think about that betrayal, every time you replay those words that hurt you, you relive the pain. You give them space in your heart, rent-free. And what do you get in return? Restlessness, sleepless nights, and a heart that feels heavier every day. So, what's the way out? White heavy checkmark let go, not for them, but for yourself. White heavy checkmark forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. White heavy checkmark free your heart and make room for happiness again. Because, at this stage in life, peace is more valuable than revenge. Happiness is more precious than proving a point. Have you ever let go of a grudge and felt lighter? Or are you still holding on to something that's weighing you down? Comment 7 below if you agree that forgiveness is freedom. Number 8. Don't share your dreams too soon. Have you ever felt excited about a new idea or goal, only to share it with someone and suddenly feel discouraged? Maybe you wanted to start a business, and someone said, "At this age, what if you fail?" Or you planned to travel alone, and they replied, "What if something happens to you?" Suddenly, the excitement turns into doubt. That's because not everyone will understand your vision. Some will doubt you, some will envy you, and some, without meaning to, will plant seeds of fear in your heart. That's why the wise ones say, work quietly, let success speak for itself. White heavy checkmark dream in silence. White heavy checkmark take small steps without announcing them. White heavy checkmark let people see your results, not your plans. Because your dreams are like fragile plants. Too much exposure, and they wither before they bloom. Have you ever shared a plan too soon and regretted it? Or have you experienced success when you work quietly? Comment 8 below if you agree that silence protects dreams. Number 9. Don't reveal too much about your money. Money is important, but it's also dangerous. Talking too much about it can create problems you never expected. If you have more money, people might start expecting favors or handouts. If you're struggling, others might see you as weak, or worse, avoid you altogether. Even family relationships can get strained when money becomes part of every discussion. That's why the golden rule is simple. Keep your finances private. White heavy checkmark if you're doing well, stay humble. White heavy checkmark if you're facing challenges, seek help, but only from trusted people. White heavy checkmark let your lifestyle reflect your wisdom, not your bank account. Because, in the end, money can buy comfort, but peace comes from privacy. Have you ever felt that money changed how people treated you? Or realized that financial privacy brought you security? Comment 9 below if you believe that money matters, but silence protects it. Final thoughts. Choose your words wisely. As we near the end of this journey, let's pause and reflect. Our words are powerful. They can build bridges or burn them. They can protect our dignity or expose our vulnerabilities. The wisest people in old age are not the loudest. They are the most selective with their words. So, here's a reminder. White heavy checkmark, protect your curiosity, but express it with grace. White heavy checkmark, let your actions speak louder than your achievements. White heavy checkmark, share your growth, not just your regrets. White heavy checkmark, hold on to patience, not anger. White heavy checkmark, talk about life, not just illness. White heavy checkmark, respect the young, and they will respect you. White heavy checkmark, let go of grudges. They are chains, not weapons. White heavy checkmark, build in silence. Let your results make the noise. White heavy checkmark, guard your wealth. Peace is found in privacy. So, I ask you this. Which one of these lessons spoke to your heart the most? Comment below the number that touched you, and let's grow wiser together. And if this video added value to your life, like it, share it, and subscribe. Because the journey of wisdom never ends. It only gets better when we walk it together. Until next time, take care, and remember, your best days can still be ahead.